And welcome to our PHP class. This will be a very quick introduction to PHP, and I'm going to go around discussing the basics of programming, and we'll see how to take some basic topics. But the main focus of this first tutorial would be to see how to properly set up PHP on our machine. So I'm using a Windows operating system, but it's pretty much the same with maybe other operating systems. So yeah, so the first thing I'll discuss is just a basic introduction, then we'll see how to quickly set PHP up. Okay, now yeah, welcome to PHP. PHP initially stood for personal home page, where the developer, the owner of PHP, the person that wrote PHP, actually wanted to use it to track the visitors to his website so that he would know who is looking at his portfolio in order to get back to the person. Employers visiting his site to look at his CV, his resume, and his portfolio so that he'll be able to get back. So, but as time went on, PHP stands for hypertext preprocessor. The Yeah, let's just go there. So PHP stands for hypertext preprocessor. Yeah, so it's a popular general purpose scripting language. Yeah, the website, right, it's especially suited to web development, though you can use it for desktop, mobile, and other things, but it's best for web development. Okay, so it is a widely used server-side backend language or server-side language like Python, PHP.NET, Ruby on Rails, and the rest of them. So it's also a backend programming language. Now, that language backend might not be really familiar to you. Now, what we are seeing here is a client-side aspect, but sometimes you try to register, it registers some way. So there is a server communication, response, request and response communication between the server and the client. So the client side is what the user sees, like we are seeing this page now. This is a client side. Yeah, so and it's what we call front end as well. So what happens in the back end, it's the interaction with the server, the databases, and the data sources. So we don't really know that except we are programmers. So the PHP is the back end aspect, not really the front end aspect that users see. So it drives the engine that runs on the front end. Okay, so what can you do with PHP? PHP can generate dynamic content, and it can create open, read, write, delete, and close files on the server. There are a lot of things you can do with PHP. You can also collect form data like in registration and login. You can also create or send and receive cookies. You can also add, modify data in the database. It can be used to encrypt data and to output HTML. And that's the beauty of PHP. You can mix HTML and PHP together, and there is no problem with that. So why would you like to learn PHP? PHP runs on various platforms: Windows, Linux, Unix, Mac OS, etc. And it supports a wide range of databases like Postgres, SQL Server, MySQL, okay, and the rest. So PHP is also free. That's its open source, like you've seen here. So you can just download with a click. So you can download it with a click. So you can download PHP here, php.net, and it is really easy to learn, okay, and runs efficiently on the server side. Now, how do you set up PHP? It's really, the installation is really not necessary, okay. It does not really require installation, but what you need to do is to make sure that you have a web server. There are popular web servers like IIS for Microsoft, and there is Apache for what you can use PHP on. Okay, so to get a web server, you download a web server, then install it on your system, then you you place your PHP file on that web server, so it runs like a virtual server. It runs like a server, but it's on your local machine, so that you'll be able to have those back end, those server side, yeah, functionalities behind the front end. Okay, so that's what you do. To do that, you get down here, you search Apache Friends. Okay, and if you get to Apache Friends, you're able to download and install XAMPP. Okay, you can install this one for depending on your operating system. So you can download and install XAMPP. So you just click on this one and it will download for you. Now XAMPP just it just stands for XML, Apache, MySQL, Perl, and PHP. So I mean different technologies put together, so that you don't have to download them one by one. Okay, so that distribution, that Apache distribution, is really good. It comes with the server benefits that you get to install. All right, so how do you actually, so you get this installed on your system. Okay, and once you download it, just extract and install it on your system. So I'll show you how to get about seeing where it has been installed. So after that, now that you have a basic understanding of PHP, how to set it up, and all those web servers and web browser. So this is a web browser. I'm using Google Chrome, but you can use Mozilla Firefox or the rest. So how do you actually run PHP? To run PHP, you need to write the code, the PHP code, in a text editor first. Okay, this Notepad is a particular example of a very common text editor. So as easy as it is, you can write PHP code on a text editor. Don't worry, we'll discuss about this syntax. So as easy as it is, you can write PHP code on this and it runs for you. Okay, so you write it on a text editor. We have different text editors. We have a text editor like Notepad, Notepad plus. We have context and the rest. Okay, those are common ones. But if you want to build more sophisticated things that come, more sophisticated applications that come in with tools, you have tools, the benefits of tools, debugging tools and the rest, extensions. You have syntax coloring, okay, and syntax highlighting, things that will really aid you in developing faster and more efficiently. So you can go for what we call IDE. IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment, IDEs. Okay, Integrated Development Environment. They are also kind of text editor, so to speak, but they offer more robust features to help you in your development. Okay, so I advise you go for that. You go for that one. So the special examples of IDEs include Visual Studio Code, very popular from Microsoft. Visual Studio Code. You can have how is that one called? Sublime Text. You have Sublime Text. You have Atom. You know, I've used most of those tools before. So these programs are really useful so that you develop more efficiently and faster. All right. So you download any of them, yeah, and I downloaded this. So this Visual Studio Code, you set it up. So once you are done, so the first thing you need to do, okay, let's just create a folder called ABC. Let me put it here. So I'm going here, folder, and once you are done with the setup, the installation of the XAMPP, your Apache server, so you get to localhost, local disk, XAMPP, okay, and then you look for htdocs. And then inside of here, we can just create a simple folder so that we can just say learn, okay? And inside this lane, we select this folder. So on selecting this folder, we create one, let's just create a new file. So I can call this index.php. Okay, so yep, so we have index.php. I don't know why we have that error. So let's just see. So index.php, and we are able to write a simple PHP code, which would just be to echo something. Echo hello world. Okay, so we want to echo that. So once you do that, you save the file you are calling with .php extension. Then it should be in lowercase. Okay, it should start from a lowercase, no numbers, not starting with numbers, and no spaces between them. Okay, so just be careful with the naming convention. Okay, so let me get to that point. Local disk and XAMPP htdocs, and I get to learn. So this is it. That's that file. Okay, so how do you run this file? So because you are in your local server, you just have localhost, and then you have, what folder did you put it in? Learn. Okay, and then index.php. Okay, that should run it for us. Wow. Okay, so we missed something. We have to start our server before we run our before we are able to run our programs on the server. Okay, so that's a requirement. So you click on XAMPP, it's actually starting up. So after the installation, you click on XAMPP, it starts up. Once you start the server, then you'll be able to see your code directly on the server. All right, so while we are waiting for it to start, I'll just quickly explain the syntax of PHP, what it looks like. Now, let me just open this. Let me create a new file that is not PHP, maybe explain.md. Okay, so now the syntax of PHP is like this. Okay, open is that less than sign and then greater than sign. So it's like a mirror. It mirrors itself. Imagine you're opening and then you're closing. So just like an HTML tag. Then you have another mirror, your question marks left and right. Okay, so once you do this, you can actually write anything between this. So this is just how you print a simple statement. Echo something here. So this will work. Okay, open, close, question mark, question mark. Every other thing comes in between. So it's just a nice design to add this, but even if you don't add that, it still works. Okay, it still works without the PHP written there. All right, so once you have that, you have it. So there is a way you can even check your PHP version. Let's check if, okay, this is up now. Let me close one of them. So you just start this, and you can simply start your MySQL at once, which is the database we'll talk about later on. Okay, so you wait until everything turns green, right? So after that, you can put it off. So let's try to run this again. So it shows hello world. Okay, that's better. So if we come over here and change to welcome to programming, and then we save, you see that it changes to, it works with our data server. Now if you are using index, which is always the first page, you don't need to write that index, it will still point to the first page. Okay, but if it's maybe contact or PHP, you have to specify explicitly, write that. Okay, but if it's index, which is the home page, which the computer understands that that's the home page, it will run without the extra details with PHP. Okay, so this runs very well, and that's how you can set up PHP easily. Now, another beauty of PHP, which is worthy of mention, is that you can write PHP. You can mix HTML with PHP. Okay, imagine if I cut this out and then I have HTML page. Okay, an HTML page like this. Okay, and we have head. We have you close the heading tag. Okay, we try to indent everything properly. So we have body, and of course you close the body tag. Okay, and we indent it properly. So inside the body you can always drop your PHP somewhere and it works fantastically well. Okay, so even when we have this, let me have a title for that. PHP inside HTML. Let me just call that. Okay, so we should see a title now. PHP inside of HTML. Okay, so you see that the hello world still comes out, and then you can intermingle them. You can still have h1 tag, HTML header tag in between, and it works quite well. Okay, so that becomes h1. Okay, so you can mix HTML and CSS. You can have, you can have a paragraph here outside of HTML, and then this is a paragraph. This paragraph is outside of PHP. Okay, and then you have another paragraph mixed in here. You can have another paragraph here. Okay, like this is inside of PHP. Is inside of PHP. Okay, so it will, you can make this one bold and underlined. So you can mix HTML and PHP as you want, underline, and of course bold as you want. So let's see how this occurs. Okay, so you have this other paragraph which is outside, and then you have this. So no one would know, okay, that you have, this was rendered by PHP and all of that. Okay, if we look at the source code, that's where you find out that this was. Okay, this is another paragraph, but there is no PHP tag for you to know that this is inside of PHP. Okay, except you have access to the source code to see this. Okay, so this is how you embed your PHP inside of HTML, and it looks good. Okay, so let's easily see if we can check PHP version. So you can have several PHP tags like this, PHP. Okay, and then you can just check PHP version. So how do you do that? Just say echo. You don't need that, PHP version, and then you have this. Okay, so let's see if we can have the PHP version echoed out. So it tells you it's 8.1.2. okay, yeah, I guess that's a very, 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 very basic introduction to this PHP class. And there is something I would just like us to do quickly, and I want to see how we can bring in HTML. We can bring in a ready-made template into our PHP so that it looks good. So you head over to Theme Wagon. There are several other websites that you can download free templates. Okay, so I'm just looking for one neat template that we can download and use. So okay, we can get this e-learning. Okay, we can get this e-learning. So what you do is you click here and it's opening. So we download it. Yep, we hope that goes. Yep, 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 yep. So, all right, so we can easily extract files. Yep. All right, so we extract these files, and once it's extracted, so this is what you do. We can, once you extract this file, you get into this file, open it, and then you copy the contents of this file. We can copy the necessary contents of these files. Okay, so that's what you do. You copy these contents, and you get down to your your XAMPP. Get down here, so htdocs, and then you get to learn the folder we created. Okay, and then we can just paste it here, paste them here. Okay, all right, so what we do is you how do I do this? All right, so once you are done with this, you get down to your here. You see already they are here also. So what you do is, let's delete this first PHP. Let's delete this PHP we have. Okay, so you click on this, you delete it here. So now what we want to do is you click on this new one. So we click on this HTML index.html we just copied. Okay, and then what you do is you save it as PHP. So save as, not save, you click on save as, and you change the name to .php. All right, and that will automatically change it to PHP for us. Okay, so we can delete the contents of this index.html. So now you see this PHP, it will render on the server for us. So let's see now. So wow, we have our full HTML template here, everything working. Okay, so that's how you integrate your PHP here. And over the next set of tutorials you have, you'll see how to play with PHP to add PHP here, but I might just do one or two things here. So over here, let me look for somewhere here. Let me just look for here where we have skilled instructors. So this is skilled instructors. So I can say echo PHP, and then you have, instead of skilled instructor, we can have something like echo programming is easy. Programming is easy. So we are echoing that. So you see, programming is easy. This is actually from PHP. Okay, you saw that this is from PHP. This online class, we can check it, we can change it to the PHP version, right? So let's just see how to do that. So online class, where are you? Okay, so after online class, we can just add this PHP, and we can have echo PHP version. Okay, with this a function, so you have to close it like that. So it will have online classes with the version, my PHP version. So this is actually how you are able to integrate templates and begin to intermingle, work with HTML and CSS seamlessly, and then nobody would notice that you are using HTML or you are using PHP together. Okay, so that's the beauty of PHP. So over the next set of courses, we'll go through the topics of programming and explore better ways to do extra stuff with PHP and HTML. Thank you very much for your time. All right, bye.